All right, guys, I wanted to talk about kind of my concerns with the future of Star Rail after Acheron's launch. I'm not sure if I'm sure some of you guys have noticed this, but Honkai has been doing a thing where the best units in the game keep happening to be destruction units, right? And that's fine, who cares? But one of the things that makes this game unique and makes their other game unique is that each character has a niche. There are a certain element that does a specific thing in Genshin, you would have like premium like cryo characters, right? They do the freeze thing, they're the best freeze element, they do a ton of damage, and they're subjected into cryo. And then in Star Rail, they never really did the same thing. So it's gotten worse is my main point. So we have an elemental system to a degree, right? If you do the lightning against the lightning, it does better. But our units now are so strong that the elemental shield doesn't really matter, and you can kind of use whoever you want for all of the things. And so what's been dominating the meta has been units like Jingliu that can always hit about 3 units at the same time and just plow through the content, which makes the single target characters, pointless. And Acheron has launched the initial power creep out of that phase. What do I mean? So Jingliu and Bibberdelune were the best before, right? Jingliu goes into an enhanced state and can hit 3 opponents with like a nuclear bomb. But she had to go into an enhanced state and it was limited. Then you have Lune, who pops up the 3 skill points, and then he gets his enhanced auto, and he can nuke 3 things. But then now we have Acheron, who just can click E and do pretty much the same damage while applying debuffs to the enemy. She works exactly like a destruction unit, even though she's Nihility. Like she's the most un-Nihility unit I feel like I've played. It almost feels like she's destruction, but it gets even more obnoxious because as a Nihility unit, she gets a AoE erudition ultimate nuclear bomb that goes off that power crept all previous unit ultimates. Now that's fine. She power creeps a lot of units in other ways too, like she can overworld farm easier than everyone else. Her animations are better. People say she's hotter, and that's all fine. Even her light cone, it's really good. I don't really care about that. What I care about is that this game is going to have a problem, and I think the problem is coming up, where new units simply just make bigger shield, heal harder, buff more things at the same time, or do more damage easier as time goes on. I think it's weird that the Nihility unit has the best Erudition ultimate in the game. I find it weird that the Nihility unit also has the main damage ability of Destruction, but also on Nihility. I just think it's kind of odd, and I'm kind of worried for future units because, like, are we gonna come out with a hunt unit that also has a 3-person cleave attack? Because then it's not really a single target DPS anymore, but like it still is. Like, it's weird that our destruction units basically do the same single target as a hunt, but then also have half the AoE of erudition. Um, I don't know. Like, I feel like they kind of pigeonhole themselves just a little bit on having each character be tied to a path. It almost feels more like the path is a thematic thing for the character and not a gameplay related thing. Like, does anyone look at Welt and feel like he seems like he's a Nihility unit? I'm gonna keep it a buck. I feel like when I play Welt, he's like an erudition destruction unit. He basically like he applies slows and debuffs, which I guess makes him Nihility, but he literally drops a black hole on their head. And the way you play him doesn't feel Nihility at all, because most of the Nihilities, apply debuffs and all that, and do dots at the moment. But I don't know, it just seems odd. Like it makes me worried. Like how are they gonna power creep Acheron? Are they just gonna make another version of Acheron that instead of doing a dot just does more damage, or instead of a debuff does more damage, hits maybe all of the enemies with their E, kind of like what's his name, red-haired boy, and then has like the same ult as her, except every time one of your units is buffed, they get a stack or something stupid. Like I don't know, it's making me wondering how do they get themselves out of this hole because they seem very very much like okay, we're gonna obviously keep power creeping every patch. We're gonna release a new character that can do what the old character did but better plus new things. And it makes me wonder like how are they going to keep this fresh? And I have faith in them. They do well. They make good characters. They always have. But Genshin had the problem where I haven't pulled on a character in like 2 years. I still don't feel like I need a new character because ever since the Denjo was done, I have not needed anything else because the characters were so strong. So if that game did power creep those things, maybe I would feel inclined to pull, but power creep is annoying and I don't want to be forced to do that. So it's like, how do they make the new character seem interesting in a turn-based game? Because I'm gonna keep it real, guys. In turn-based games, there's two things that are more powerful than everything else. If you can AoE defense down, so Pella, and AoE kill everything at the same time. If you can get a unit to do that, they're the best unit in the game, and you can't really replace them. You would have your best AoE farming unit, and then you'd have your best boss killer. And Star Rail made Acheron the best at both. She's by far the best farmer. She destroys everything so quickly for me anyway. She farms so freaking fast, and she's the best boss nuker. So it's like, okay, so now you made it so I don't need more teams. So that's not good. And then you made it so I play the game less because I can kill everything so unbelievably fast by just one-shotting them in the overworld. And I'm just like, where do you go from here? Because I made a video earlier about how Acheron power creeps the entire game in the future. Because how do you top Acheron? Like, how do you make a unit more hype than Raiden? They have to have better animations, they have to be hotter, they have to have more story time, and they need to just have better numbers. And although they're pushing adventuring extremely hard on us story wise, and he's even up against terrible unit like Japard in order to like power creep him, it still feels like worth it just keeping Japard. Like it's sad because we all have Fushuan, and Fushuan, I mean, for the most part, is kind of just better than adventuring in a lot of ways. I I don't know. I feel like I'm worried for the future of the game. I think it has a lot of competition coming out in terms of like other gachas, maybe not turn-based ones. And I don't think the game's gonna die or anything, but I wanted to put a video out basically saying how I'm worried for the future of the game because the characters in this game don't seem to have like a clear identity. Like they do. They have a thematic identity, sure. But like I own pretty much every DPS in the game. Every DPS in the game boils down to buff them, AoE cleave, and they die. And if it's not that, it's overbuff them and give them multiple turns, they can single target kill everything. And I get that there's not really, I guess, a lot that they can do in this style of game to counter like act that. But the way that they're doing it right now, like there is, I guess, some fun new ways they're doing things, like with the follow-up attacks and the dots and all that. But like, I don't know if anyone's looked at future characters coming, but this seems like their new formula is we're gonna make all the characters either do single target nuclear bombs or AoE nuclear bombs. But they're just gonna scale up something different. So we got the break effect scalers coming. We have the follow-up attack scalers that we've just been getting. We have just the regular crit characters that just buff themselves with so much crit that you can focus on other stuff. And then we have the dot debuffers. I don't know where they go to expand it from here. Like, I think they probably need more, maybe just basic attackers. I don't know. And it looks like they're going to try to maybe experiment with having supports do damage too, with the dream I had about Robin. But I don't know. Am I the only one worried about this? Like, I feel like I don't see where they go from here that doesn't kind of destroy the game, at least in the long term. But maybe that's okay because people are always going to want a new waifu. And at the end of the day, this game is just about collecting characters and enjoying a story with them. I'm just worried that they're either going to overpower group what we have or nothing's ever going to be cooler than what we currently have. Because right now we have some really freaking cool units. And it's gonna be really hard for them to make us not like continue only liking that one unit. Like Genshin, they never got over that. Like no one ever got cooler than freaking Kazuha, Zhao. People still like only like Ganyu and Hu Tao. Um, like you have Nuvilet kinda, but his peak is not the same as the old peaks. Like Raiden Shogun's still like the most loved character. The other Archons aren't even close. Like I don't know. Maybe it's because they were too successful in some ways and it's hard for them to like get out of their own shadow. Unless they just keep re-releasing older characters from other games into their game, and we use that to ride the hype train. But let me know what you guys think down below, and look forward to the next video.